Most people live their entire lives without ever understanding this one simple truth. And Earl Nightingale warned us about it decades ago. He said, "Success is rare, not because it is difficult, but because most people never decide to pursue it." Let that sink in. Success is rare, not because of luck, not because of talent, not because the world is unfair, but because most people never truly decide. Tonight, I want you to listen carefully, because this is not just a motivational speech. This is a mirror, and what you see in it might make you uncomfortable. Earl Nightingale spent his life studying one question: why do a few people succeed while the majority struggle their entire lives? And the answer he discovered was shocking in its simplicity. He said, "We become what we think about, not what we wish, not what we hope, not what we pray for once in a while, what we think about consistently." Now, here is where most people fail. They think success is something outside of them: a better job, more money, a powerful connection, a lucky break. But Nightingale said success is something internal. It starts the moment a person makes a clear, definite decision about who they are going to become. And most people never do. They drift, they wake up, they scroll, they complain, they repeat, day after day, year after year. And then one day they look back and ask, where did my life go wrong? Earl Nightingale called this the strangest secret. He said the majority of people live their lives on autopilot. They react instead of choosing. They follow instead of leading. They accept instead of deciding. And that is why success is rare. Think about it. If success were easy, everyone would have it. If success required only talent, the most gifted would always win. If success depended on intelligence, the smartest would rule the world. But that's not what we see. We see average people achieving extraordinary results and brilliant people stuck in ordinary lives. Why? Because success is not about ability. It is about direction. Nightingale said, "A person with a goal is like a ship with a destination. A person without a goal is like a ship without a rudder." Both ships may be strong, both may have fuel, but only one reaches somewhere meaningful. Most people never set a clear goal. They say things like, "I just want to be happy. I just want a good life. I just want to be successful." But those are not goals. Those are wishes. And the world does not reward wishes. It rewards clarity. Earl Nightingale believed that the moment you write down a clear goal, your life begins to change. Not magically, not overnight, but directionally. You stop wasting energy. You stop chasing distractions. You stop living according to other people's expectations. But here is the painful truth. Clarity is dangerous, because the moment you decide who you want to become, you also accept responsibility. No more excuses. No more blaming circumstances. No more waiting for permission. And most people don't want that responsibility. They would rather complain than commit. They would rather dream than decide. They would rather talk about success than pay its price. That is why success is rare. Nightingale said, "The opposite of courage is not cowardice, it is conformity. And conformity is comfortable. It feels safe. It feels normal. But it slowly kills potential. When everyone around you is average, average starts to feel acceptable. When everyone complains, complaining feels justified. When everyone avoids discipline, laziness feels normal. And that is how dreams die, quietly." Earl Nightingale warned us about this trap. He said society trains people to fit in, not to stand out, to follow routines, not to question them, to survive, not to grow. And if you are not careful, you wake up one day living a life you never consciously chose. Success requires something most people are unwilling to give: delayed gratification. It requires doing what is hard now, so life can be easy later, while most people choose what is easy now and suffer later. Nightingale said successful people are willing to live differently. They read while others watch. They learn while others scroll. They work while others complain. Not because they are better, but because they are intentional. And here is the line that separates the few from the many. Don't wait for motivation. Decide. Motivation is emotional. It comes and goes. Decision is permanent. The moment you decide who you are becoming, your actions begin to align. Your habits change. Your standards rise. Your tolerance for excuses disappears. But this moment is uncomfortable because it exposes the gap between who you are and who you want to be. And most people look away. But if you are still listening, if something inside you feels restless, if this message feels personal, then maybe this is your moment. Because Earl Nightingale believed that success always begins with awareness, and awareness begins with truth. And the truth is this: you are not stuck. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are simply undecided. And once you decide, everything begins to move. Earl Nightingale once said something that most people don't want to hear. He said, "The biggest mistake most people make is not aiming too high and missing, but aiming too low and hitting." Think about that. Most people are not failing. They are succeeding at goals that are too small. They build lives that are comfortable, predictable, and safe. And then they wonder why they feel empty, because deep inside, they know they settled. Success is rare because it demands something uncomfortable. It demands growth. And growth always feels like pressure before it feels like progress. Nightingale explained that fear is not the enemy. Comfort is. Fear can push you forward. Comfort keeps you exactly where you are. Most people wait for fear to disappear fear before they act. But successful people act despite fear. That's the difference. He said, everything worthwhile is uphill, and uphill journeys are exhausting. They demand effort. They demand discipline. They demand consistency when excitement is gone. And this is where most people quit. Not at the beginning. Not when things are impossible. They quit when things get boring, when results don't come fast, when nobody is watching, when praise disappears, when motivation fades. Nightingale warned that discipline will always beat motivation, because motivation depends on mood. Discipline depends on decision. And successful people do not ask, how do I feel today? They ask, what must be done? Most people live emotionally. They work when they feel like it. They study when they feel inspired. They act when they feel motivated. And that is why their lives are unstable. Success requires emotional control. It requires showing up on bad days, on tired days, on days when quitting feels logical. Nightingale said, never let the fear of criticism stop you, because criticism is the tax you pay for standing out. If you do nothing, nobody criticizes you. If you try something new, people talk. If you grow, people judge. If you succeed, people resent. And if you fail, they say, I told you so. So most people choose silence. They choose invisibility. They choose safety. But safety has a cost. It costs you your potential. Earl Nightingale believed that success is an inside job. Your environment matters, but your mind matters more. He taught that your mind is like fertile soil. Whatever you plant in it grows. Fear grows. Doubt grows. Excuses grow. But so do confidence, focus, discipline. The problem is, most people plant nothing intentionally. They let social media decide. They let news decide. They let other people's opinions decide. And then they wonder why their mindset is weak. Nightingale urged people to guard their minds, to be selective about what they listen to, what they read, what they repeat to themselves. Because repetition creates belief, and belief drives behavior. He said, your subconscious mind does not argue with you. It accepts what you tell it. If you constantly tell yourself, I'm not good enough, it's too late, I missed my chance, your mind believes it, and your actions follow. But if you decide to tell yourself, I am becoming disciplined, I am learning, I am building something meaningful, your behavior begins to shift. Not instantly, but inevitably. This is why success looks boring from the outside. It is not dramatic. It is not flashy. It is quiet, repetitive, lonely. It is reading when others relax, practicing when others sleep, preparing when others procrastinate. Nightingale said successful people are willing to be misunderstood for a season. They sacrifice temporary pleasure for permanent progress. And here is a hard truth. If you want a life most people don't have, you must be willing to do things most people won't do. Most people want results without routine, confidence without competence, rewards without responsibility. But life doesn't work that way. Success is a process, not an event, and processes require patience. Earl Nightingale emphasized that time will pass anyway. The question is, who will you become while it passes? 5 years will pass, 10 years will pass. You will either be closer to your potential or further from it. The difference is not luck, it is daily choice. Small decisions, repeated daily, compound into destiny. And that is why success is rare. Not because it is impossible, but because it is unpopular. It requires saying no. It requires focus. It requires standards. And standards make people uncomfortable. But if you are still here, still listening, still paying attention, then maybe you are not like most people. Maybe you are ready to stop drifting, to stop waiting, to stop hoping, and start deciding, because Earl Nightingale believed this deeply. The moment you commit to growth, life begins to respond. Not immediately, but unmistakably. Earl Nightingale said something most people ignore until it's too late. He said, you don't get paid for your time. You get paid for the value you bring to the marketplace. That one sentence explains why so many people work hard, yet stay stuck. Most people believe effort alone guarantees success. They believe long hours equal progress. They believe being busy means moving forward. But Nightingale warned that busyness without direction is a trap. You can work for years and still be in the same place, because success is not about motion. It's about alignment, aligned thoughts, aligned habits, aligned goals. And here is where self-sabotage begins. Most people know what they should do. They know they should learn. They know they should improve. They know they should discipline themselves. But knowing is not doing. And the gap between knowing and doing is where dreams die. Nightingale explained that people sabotage themselves because success forces change, and change threatens identity. If you grow, you outgrow old habits. If you improve, you outgrow old conversations. If you succeed, you outgrow old environments. And deep down, most people fear losing familiarity more than they fear failure. So they delay. They overthink. They prepare forever. Preparation feels productive, but it is often disguised fear. Earl Nightingale said, action cures fear. Not thinking, not planning, not waiting. Action. Fear shrinks when you move toward it. Confidence grows when you keep promises to yourself. But most people break promises to themselves daily. They say, I'll start tomorrow. I'll wake up early. I'll be consistent this time. And then they don't. And each broken promise weakens self-trust. Eventually, they stop believing themselves. That is why discipline is not about punishment. It is about self-respect. Nightingale Nightingale believed that successful people build identity first. They don't wait for results to feel confident. They act confident, and results follow. They ask, what would a disciplined person do today? What would a focused person choose right now? And then they do it. Not perfectly, but consistently. Consistency is powerful because it removes decision fatigue. You stop debating. You stop negotiating. You simply execute. Most people negotiate with their goals. Successful people obey theirs. And here is another uncomfortable truth. Talent is overrated. Consistency is underrated. Earl Nightingale saw average people outperform gifted ones simply because they refused to quit. They showed up when it was boring. They stayed when it was uncomfortable. They continued when progress was invisible. And that invisible phase breaks most people because humans crave feedback. They want proof. They want validation. But success requires faith before evidence. Nightingale said, you must become the person first, before the world recognizes you as one. That means acting like a leader before anyone follows, working like a professional before anyone pays you, believing before anyone applauds. This is lonely. This is quiet. This is misunderstood. And that is why most people stop. They confuse silence with failure. They confuse slow growth with no growth. They confuse difficulty with impossibility. But difficulty is normal. If it were easy, everyone would do it. Nightingale reminded us that the price of success is paid in advance. The rewards come later, while the price of failure is paid over time. Regret, frustration, unrealized potential, and regret is heavier than discipline. He said something profound. All you need is one idea and the courage to act on it. But courage is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is private. It is waking up when no one is watching. It is saying no when temptation is strong. It is continuing when quitting feels justified. This is why success looks simple in hindsight, but feels brutal in real time. Most people admire results. Few respect the process. Earl Nightingale urged people to fall in love with the process because the process shapes character, and character determines destiny. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits, and habits are built daily, quietly, incrementally. This is why small disciplines matter. 5 pages a day, 30 minutes of focus, 1 honest hour of improvement. Small actions, repeated, compound. Most people underestimate what they can become in 5 years because they overestimate what they can do in 5 days. Success is rare because patience is rare. People want shortcuts. They want hacks. They want overnight results. But Nightingale taught that overnight success is built on years of unseen effort. And here is the truth you cannot escape. You are already becoming something. The question is it intentional? Every day you either move closer to your potential or further from it. There is no neutral. And the moment you realize this, your excuses lose power because awareness creates responsibility, and responsibility creates growth. Earl Nightingale once said, our attitude toward life determines life's attitude toward us. And this is where everything becomes personal, because attitude is not what you say in public. It is what you practice in private. Most people say they want success, but their daily attitude says something else. They complain more than they create. They consume more than they produce. They react more than they reflect. And Nightingale warned that life always mirrors behavior. If you approach life casually, life responds casually. If you approach life seriously, life begins to open doors. Success is rare because seriousness is rare. Most people want the rewards of discipline, but not the lifestyle of discipline. They want confidence without preparation, respect without effort, results without repetition. But repetition is the price. Nightingale believed mastery comes from doing the basics extraordinarily well. Not once, not twice, but every day. And here is where ego becomes the enemy. People want to look successful before they are successful. They want recognition before results. They want praise before proof, so they rush. They skip fundamentals. They avoid being beginners. But growth demands humility. You must be willing to look inexperienced. You must be willing to be corrected. You must be willing to fail publicly. And this is painful because ego wants comfort, but success demands truth. Earl Nightingale said the human mind is the greatest tool ever created, but it can also be the most dangerous weapon. If left undisciplined, an undisciplined mind magnifies problems. It exaggerates fear. It invents excuses. A disciplined mind searches for solutions. It focuses on opportunity. It moves forward despite uncertainty. And discipline is trained, not inherited, not gifted, trained. Just like muscles grow under resistance, character grows under challenge. That is why hard times are not punishment. They are preparation. But most people waste difficulty. They complain instead of learning. They retreat instead of adapting. They quit instead of evolving. Nightingale said adversity introduces a person to themselves. Under pressure, you discover what you really believe, what you truly value, what you are actually willing to endure. And this discovery is uncomfortable because it removes illusion. You realize potential means nothing without execution. You realize dreams mean nothing without discipline. You realize intention means nothing without action. And this realization separates adults from children. Children wait to feel ready. Adults act act, and become ready. Success is rare because maturity is rare. Most people want life to change first. Successful people change first. They adjust their thinking, they raise their standards, they upgrade their habits, and slowly, life responds. Not immediately, but consistently. Earl Nightingale taught that success compounds quietly. You don't notice it day to day, but one day, the distance is undeniable, and people will ask, how did you do it? Overnight. But you will know the truth. It was early mornings. It was boring routines. It was lonely discipline. It was invisible effort. And here is the part nobody talks about. You must be willing to disappoint people. When you grow, some people will feel uncomfortable. When you change, some people will feel judged. When you succeed, some people will feel left behind, and they will try to pull you back, not always intentionally, but emotionally. Nightingale warned that you cannot build a new life while clinging to an old identity. Growth requires separation, new standards, new priorities, new environment, and this is where courage is tested. Because humans fear rejection, but successful people fear regret more. They understand that temporary loneliness is better than permanent disappointment, and that clarity creates strength. Earl Nightingale believed that clarity creates confidence. When you know where you are going, opinions lose power, criticism fades, doubt weakens, focus sharpens, because confusion is exhausting, clarity is energizing. Most people are tired not because they do too much, but because they do too many meaningless things. Success demands elimination, cutting distractions, cutting excuses, cutting emotional clutter. And this is uncomfortable, but every level of success demands a new version of you, and the old version cannot come with you. That is why transformation feels like loss before it feels like gain. But on the other side of discipline, there is freedom. Freedom from doubt, freedom from regret, freedom from mediocrity. Earl Nightingale believed that life rewards those who decide, not those who wait. And decision is not a feeling, it is a commitment to show up, to improve, to continue, even when no one notices, even when progress feels slow, even when quitting feels reasonable. Because reasonable people rarely change the world. Earl Nightingale said, you are the sum total of your habits. And this is where everything becomes brutally honest. Because habits don't lie. They reveal priorities. They expose discipline. They show what you truly value. Most people blame circumstances. They blame the economy. They blame their past. They blame other people. But Nightingale believed your habits are the real story. Your income reflects your habits. Your confidence reflects your habits. Your future reflects your habits. And habits are built when no one is watching. This is why success is rare, because most people want change without changing what they repeatedly do. They want a new life while keeping old routines, but life doesn't work that way. Nightingale taught that success begins with one disciplined hour a day, 1 hour of focused improvement, 1 hour of intentional growth, and that 1 hour compounds 365 hours a year. 5 years later, you are unrecognizable. But here is the problem. 1 hour feels insignificant. One day feels unimportant. One choice feels harmless. So people skip it, and then years pass. Earl Nightingale warned that neglect is silent. It doesn't scream, it whispers. Skipping today feels small, but repeated neglect becomes a lifestyle, and lifestyles determine destiny. Most people do not fail dramatically. They fail quietly through daily compromises. They choose comfort over discipline, entertainment over education, escape over effort. And then, one day, they realize life has passed them by. Nightingale said, don't let the little things fool you, because little things become big things. Eventually, successful people respect the power of small disciplines. They understand that momentum is created through consistency. They don't rely on willpower. They rely on systems. They remove temptation. They structure routines. They design environments that support growth. Because discipline is easier when resistance is removed. Most people fight themselves daily. They rely on motivation. They depend on mood, and mood is unreliable. Successful people don't ask, do I feel like it? They ask, what is scheduled? Because what is scheduled gets done. This is not glamorous. This is not exciting. This is boring excellence. And boring excellence beats emotional effort every time. Earl Nightingale believed self-image controls behavior. You act in harmony with how you see yourself. If you see yourself as undisciplined, you will act undisciplined. If you see yourself as improving, you will seek improvement. That is why change begins internally. You don't wait to feel confident. You act confident until confidence catches up. You don't wait to feel disciplined. You act disciplined until it becomes identity. Identity precedes results. Most people wait for results to change how they see themselves. Successful people change how they see themselves, and results follow. This is uncomfortable because it feels fake at first, but Nightingale said growth always feels unnatural in the beginning. You are shedding an old identity. You are becoming unfamiliar to yourself, and that discomfort is proof of progress. Comfort is dangerous because it numbs ambition. It makes average feel acceptable. It convinces you that this is enough. enough. But deep down, you know when you are capable of more. That quiet dissatisfaction is not negativity. It is potential knocking. Most people silence it. They distract themselves. They settle. But successful people listen. They use dissatisfaction as fuel. Earl Nightingale believed purpose gives suffering meaning. When you know why you are working, fatigue feels different. Hard days feel temporary. Sacrifice feels logical. Pain feels productive. But without purpose, everything feels heavy. This is why clarity matters. You must know why you are doing this, why you wake up early, why you say no, why you continue when quitting feels easier. Without a strong why, discipline collapses. Nightingale urged people to define their purpose clearly, to write it down, to revisit it daily, because reminders create resilience. Most people forget their goals. Successful people revisit theirs daily. They remind themselves who they are becoming, and slowly, the mind aligns, the habits align, the life aligns. Success is not chased. It is attracted by the person you become, and this is the ultimate truth Nightingale taught. You cannot escape the person you are becoming. Every choice is a vote. Every habit is a direction. Every day is a step. You are either building momentum or building regret. There is no pause. There is no neutral. And the moment you accept this, your excuses lose power, because responsibility creates strength, and strength creates freedom. Earl Nightingale believed that freedom is the true reward of success. Not money, not fame. Freedom. Freedom to choose. Freedom to grow. Freedom to live intentionally. But freedom demands discipline first, and discipline is rare. That is why success is rare. Earl Nightingale said, "Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal." Read that again. Success is not an event. It is not a number. It is not applause. It is progress. Daily. Intentional. Towards something meaningful. And this is where most people misunderstand success completely. They believe success is something you reach. Nightingale taught that success is something you live. The moment you begin moving toward a worthy goal, you are successful. But here's the problem. Most people wait to feel successful before they act. They wait for permission. They wait for validation. They wait for confidence. And while they wait, life moves on. Nightingale believed waiting is the most expensive habit, because time is the one resource you never get back. You can lose money and recover. You can lose status and rebuild. But lost time is permanent. And yet most people waste it casually, scrolling, complaining, distracting themselves. Not because they are lazy, but because they are unfocused. Focus is rare. And where focus goes, energy flows. Successful people protect their attention. They are ruthless with distractions. They understand that attention is the gateway to achievement. If you control your attention, you control your future. But most people allow their attention to be hijacked by notifications, by opinions, by noise. And noise creates confusion. Confusion creates hesitation. Hesitation creates inaction. And inaction creates regret. Earl Nightingale warned that the world will happily consume your time. If you don't guard it, busy does not mean productive. Movement does not mean progress. You must ask yourself one hard question every day. Did what I did today move me closer to who I want to become? Most people avoid this question because the answer is uncomfortable, but discomfort is the doorway to growth. Nightingale believed honesty with oneself is the foundation of success, not harsh judgment, but clear awareness. Awareness of habits, awareness of excuses, awareness of patterns, because patterns reveal destiny. If your days look the same, your years will look the same. And this is terrifying or empowering, depending on what you choose to change. Earl Nightingale said, "The mind is the master weaver of destiny. Your thoughts shape your actions. Your actions shape your habits. Your habits shape your life. And it all begins in the mind." This is why he emphasized mental diet. What you allow into your mind daily. Fear-based content weakens you. Negative input limits you. Repetitive doubt programs failure. But intentional input builds strength. Successful people feed their minds differently. They listen to ideas, not noise. They study principles, not gossip. They seek growth, not comfort. And over time, their thinking separates them from the crowd, because thinking differently leads to acting differently, and acting differently leads to living differently. This separation feels lonely at first, but loneliness is temporary. Regret is permanent. Earl Nightingale believed you must be willing to walk alone for a while, to trust your vision when others doubt it, to continue when progress is invisible, because the early stages of growth are always quiet. Seeds grow underground first, and most people dig them up too early to see if they're working. Successful people wait, they water, they trust the process, and one day, results appear, suddenly, but it was never sudden, it was earned. Nightingale said something powerful. You can have anything you want if you are willing to give up who you are. Read that carefully. Not give up values, not give up integrity. Give up limitations, excuses, old identities, because the version of you that created your current life cannot create your next one. Growth demands change. Change demands courage, and courage is quiet. It is choosing discipline when no one is forcing you. It is choosing improvement when no one is watching. It is choosing purpose over pleasure. And these choices compound, slowly, silently, relentlessly. Most people underestimate this. That's why they quit early. They don't see progress. They don't don't feel different. They don't get recognition, so they stop. But success doesn't announce itself early. It reveals itself later, and by then, it's undeniable. Earl Nightingale believed that persistence is not intensity. It is endurance, not doing more, but doing longer. And endurance wins where talent fails, because talent without discipline burns out, but discipline without talent builds empires. This is why success is rare. Not because opportunity is limited, but because endurance is limited. People want fast results. They want easy wins. They want shortcuts. But life rewards those who stay consistent, who stay focused, who stay committed, even when it's boring, even when it's hard, even when it's slow. And if you are still listening, still present, still engaged, then understand this. You are not late. You are not behind. You are right on time to make a different decision. A decision to stop drifting, to stop waiting, to stop settling, and start becoming. Because Earl Nightingale believed this with absolute certainty. The future belongs to those who decide today who they will be tomorrow. Now let's dive deeper into what Earl Nightingale called the strangest secret. He said, "We become what we think about." And this is the key that almost everyone misses. People think success is about luck, skill, or opportunity. But Nightingale said it's simpler and scarier than that. It's about focus. What you think about consistently, every day, every hour, every moment, becomes your reality. If you dwell on fear, doubt, or failure, your life will reflect those thoughts. If you dwell on growth, possibilities, and solutions, your life will reflect that too. And most people spend far too much time thinking about what they don't want instead of what they do want. Complaints, worries, envy, regret. These dominate most minds, and their lives show it. Success is rare because most people don't control their minds. They let external circumstances dictate emotions. They let other people's opinions steer their thoughts. They let problems consume attention, and the mind, left unmanaged, becomes the architect of failure. Nightingale taught that the mind is like a garden. You must plant intentionally. Weeds grow automatically. Neglecting your thoughts leads to chaos. Intentional thought leads to creation. And here is the hard truth. Most people are lazy about their mental garden. They fill it with random content. They let doubts grow unchecked. They let negativity fester. And then they are surprised when life mirrors it. But the solution is simple, yet rare. Decide what you will think about. Decide who you want to become. Decide the life you want to live. And think about that relentlessly, not occasionally, not when convenient, consistently. Nightingale emphasized repetition. He said, your subconscious mind accepts what you repeatedly tell it. Daily reinforcement is the engine of change. The small thoughts you ignore compound. The small habits you maintain compound. Most people underestimate this. They think only dramatic actions change life, but most life-changing actions are quiet, repetitive, and invisible. Waking up early, reading, planning, reflecting, acting with integrity, being patient, being consistent. These are not exciting. They are not glamorous, but they create extraordinary results over time. And this is where most people fail. They look for shortcuts. They expect instant recognition. They quit before the compounding effect occurs. But the disciplined few understand the power of small daily victories. They know that momentum is built one thought, one action, one choice at a time. Earl Nightingale said, don't just passively drift through life. Take control, and control begins internally. Your circumstances are often beyond your immediate control. Your environment may not be perfect. People may doubt or criticize you, but your thoughts, your choices, your habits, those are yours alone. This is why success is rare. Most people give their power away. They wait for permission. They wait for the perfect time. They wait for the ideal environment. But successful people act anyway. They decide first. They adjust second. They persist third. And they understand that discomfort is part of the process. Earl Nightingale also emphasized the importance of purpose. Without a clear purpose, effort dissipates. Without a clear purpose, discipline fades. Without a clear purpose, direction is lost. Purpose acts like a compass. It guides decisions. It sustains focus. It fuels action. And most people don't define their purpose. They drift. They react. They follow the crowd. That is why success is rare. But if you define your purpose and align your daily habits with it, extraordinary results are inevitable. Because aligned action compounds. Aligned thinking compounds. Aligned life compounds. And over time, what once seemed impossible becomes natural. But again, the rare part isn't opportunity. It's endurance. It's clarity. It's focus. It's persistence in the face of boredom, doubt, and fear. Most people fail because they stop too soon. They abandon the process. They abandon themselves. They abandon their future. And Earl Nightingale warned that time will pass anyway. 5 years from now, you will be either closer to your ideal or further away. The difference is today's decisions. The difference is today's focus. The difference is the thoughts you choose to nurture. structure. If you are still reading, listening, or paying attention, then know this. You have the rare opportunity to take control of your life right now, to decide who you are, to decide what matters, to decide the thoughts, habits, and actions that will shape your destiny. Because Earl Nightingale believed the rare secret of success is not talent, it is not luck, it is not circumstance. It is the conscious decision to become what you think about. And those who do it are the rare few. Now, let's go even deeper into what separates the few from the many. Earl Nightingale said, "Don't let the world make you hard, let it make you strong." Think about that for a moment. Most people react to life's challenges by softening, by complaining, by giving up. They allow circumstances to dictate their mindset. They allow criticism to define their worth. They allow failure to convince them they are incapable. But Nightingale believed true success comes from strength, not comfort. Strength is built by facing adversity intentionally. Strength is built by saying yes to challenges that others avoid. Strength is built by continuing when quitting seems reasonable. And here is the key. Strength begins with self-discipline, because self-discipline is not punishment. It is preparation. It is the vehicle that transforms vision into reality. Nightingale said, "Discipline yourself to do what you know you must do, even when you don't feel like it." Most people fail because they wait for motivation. They wait for inspiration. They wait for a perfect mood. But motivation is fleeting. Discipline is permanent. Successful people create systems that enforce discipline automatically. They structure their days. They schedule their priorities. They remove distractions. They automate habits. And over time, this invisible structure becomes unstoppable momentum. But it all starts with a decision. The decision to refuse mediocrity. The decision to refuse delay. The decision to refuse the life others say is good enough. Earl Nightingale believed that rare individuals understand this. Life is not neutral. Time is not neutral. Your mind is not neutral. Every thought, every choice, every habit, every day tilts the scale towards growth or stagnation, towards success or regret, towards freedom or mediocrity. Most people underestimate this power. They think life just happens. They think luck is the main factor. They blame circumstances. But Nightingale made it clear, the mind is the most powerful tool you possess, and what you feed it shapes everything. This is why he emphasized reading, reflection, and repeated exposure to ideas of growth. He said, "You become the average of the 5 people you associate with most, not because of chance, but because of influence." If your environment is weak, your habits weaken. If your environment is negative, your thinking becomes negative. If your environment is complacent, your ambition fades. Success is rare because few people consciously choose their environment. They drift where convenience leads. They remain surrounded by mediocrity. They absorb excuses instead of solutions. But the rare few deliberately curate their surroundings. They seek mentors. They surround themselves with ambitious people. They feed their minds daily with truth, challenge, and growth. And over time, this intentional input compounds. Knowledge compounds. Habits compound. Character compounds. Results compound. And one day, what seemed impossible is suddenly inevitable. This is why Earl Nightingale's teachings remain timeless. He understood that success is a formula. Not magic, not luck, not talent alone. A formula that requires 3 essential components. 1. Clarity. Decide what you want. Define it clearly. Write it down. 2. Focus. Direct all energy toward that goal. Protect your attention fiercely. 3. Persistence. Continue daily, despite fear, doubt, boredom, or failure. Most people succeed in small bursts, fail in the long run, and call it life. The rare few succeed consistently and call it destiny. And here's the final, most uncomfortable truth. You are already becoming something. Every thought, every action, every habit, it's shaping your future. The only question is, are you deciding consciously or are you drifting passively? Earl Nightingale believed that the moment you decide to take control, everything begins to align. The mind sharpens, the habits strengthen, the life transforms, and over time, the rare becomes reality. Success is not rare because it is unavailable. It is rare because most people refuse to claim it. But if you listen, if you decide, if you act, you can be part of the few who are not distracted, the few who are not discouraged, the few who are relentless, the few who create lives worth living. Because the rarest secret of all is this: the person you become is the life you will live, and that choice is yours. Now let's break down one of the most powerful lessons Earl Nightingale taught: the compounding effect of thought and action. He said, success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal, and that ideal begins in your mind first. Most people people underestimate this. They think a single effort, a single lucky break, or a single decision will make them successful. But Nightingale warned, success is not instantaneous. It is compound. Every small thought you allow into your mind, every small habit you form, every small action you take, it compounds silently over time. Think of it like planting seeds. A seed does not sprout into a tree overnight. It grows underground first, unseen. Roots develop, then slowly a shoot emerges. Then the branches, the leaves, and finally the fruit. Most people dig up their seeds too early. They expect immediate results. They quit before the compounding does its work. Successful people understand the power of patience. They understand that visible results are the last thing to appear, not the first. Nightingale said that this is why most people fail. Not because they are incapable, but because they quit too soon. They abandon the process. They abandon their growth. They abandon themselves. But if you continue, even when it feels invisible, even when it's boring, even when nobody notices, compounding works in your favor. This is why success seems effortless in hindsight. It looks sudden, but in reality, it is the result of thousands of small decisions made consistently over time. Here's the next lesson. Focus your energy on what truly matters. Earl Nightingale emphasized that we live in an age of distractions, notifications, social media, endless entertainment, negative influences. All of these hijack attention, and attention is everything. Whatever you give your attention to grows. If you constantly focus on fear, limitation, or excuses, that's what will grow in your life. If you constantly focus on solutions, opportunities, and growth, that's what will grow in your life. The rare secret: most people give their attention to what doesn't matter. They allow their thoughts to drift. They let others decide their priorities. They consume without creating. And then, unsurprisingly, their lives reflect mediocrity. Successful people are intentional. They guard their minds and direct their energy. They decide what thoughts are allowed in. They decide how to act. They decide what is worthy of their time. And over time, that discipline creates unstoppable momentum. Another key lesson from Nightingale: take responsibility for your life completely. He said, don't wait for someone else to make your life better. The responsibility lies with you. Most people blame circumstances. They blame parents, teachers, the economy, the system, or the world. But Nightingale taught that while circumstances may influence outcomes, they do not determine them. Your choices determine your outcomes. Every day is a series of decisions. Do you complain or solve problems? Do you give up or persist? Do you focus on fear or opportunity? And these small daily decisions add up, silently shaping the trajectory of your life. This is why success is rare. Most people never take full responsibility. They drift, they react, they make excuses. The rare few take control. They decide first, then act. And finally, Nightingale emphasized the importance of purpose. Without purpose, effort becomes meaningless. Discipline becomes a chore. Progress feels hollow. But with purpose, every sacrifice is meaningful. Every struggle is an investment. Every delay is temporary. Purpose is the fuel that keeps you moving when motivation fades. Most people never define their purpose. They drift aimlessly. They hope life will give them direction. The rare succeed because they define it themselves. They know exactly why they wake up, why they endure, and why they continue. And with purpose, patience, focus, and consistent action, what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. Earl Nightingale's message is clear. Success is not luck. Success is not talent alone. Success is the rare combination of clarity, focus, discipline, responsibility, and purpose, compounded daily over time. Most people fail because they refuse the price. The rare succeed because they embrace it. And that is why success is rare. Now, let's talk about one of the most overlooked truths Earl Nightingale taught. Success is a reflection of your character, not your circumstances. Most people chase external validation. They think that if they get the right job, the right title, the right money, or the right connections, they will be successful. But Nightingale said that external achievements are meaningless if your inner life is neglected. Your character determines how you respond to challenges. Your character determines whether you persist or quit. Your character determines whether you learn from failure or become bitter. And character is built through consistent action, not words, not intentions, action. Every decision you make strengthens or weakens your character. Every habit you form reinforces who you are becoming. Every choice you make compounds into identity. Most people underestimate this power. They believe success changes character, but it's the other way around. Character creates success. And this is where most people fail. They try to shortcut the process. They want the rewards without building the person capable of earning them. They want fame without discipline. They want wealth without responsibility. They want freedom without self-mastery. But Nightingale reminded us that the foundation of rare success is internal. You cannot build a life greater than the person you are today. And this is uncomfortable for most people because it requires self-reflection. It requires honesty. It requires admitting where you've been coasting. It requires accepting that growth is mandatory if you want a rare life. That's why Earl Nightingale emphasized the daily mental workout. Feed your mind ideas of growth. Feed it principles, not excuses. Feed it courage, not fear. Because your mind becomes what you allow it to absorb. Most people fail not because the world is against them, but because they allow their minds to be passive. They consume passively. They scroll endlessly. They complain endlessly. And then they are surprised when results never come. The rare people, however, treat their minds as a garden. They plant seeds intentionally. They remove weeds of doubt, distraction, and negativity. They water growth daily through reading, reflection, and action. And over time, their mind shapes their reality. Another critical lesson from Nightingale: action is better than intention. Most people have dreams. Most people have ideas. Most people want to change. But without action, dreams are fantasies. Ideas are wasted potential, and desire fades. Action is where the rare separate themselves from the ordinary. Act even when you feel unready. Act even when fear whispers. Act even when progress seems invisible. Because action builds momentum. Action builds confidence. Action compounds into results. And momentum is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. Once you start, even small steps push the next steps. Even small progress fuels the next progress. Even small victories create belief. Most people quit before momentum begins. The rare keep going until it becomes unstoppable. Finally, Nightingale taught that gratitude and perspective are essential. Success is rare, not just because effort is uncommon, but because perspective is rare. Those who appreciate their journey, who see lessons in failures, who recognize growth in small wins, are mentally resilient. Those who dwell on setbacks, envy others, or ignore progress are mentally fragile. Gratitude transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. Perspective turns obstacles into opportunities. And those who master both create a life that others only dream of. Remember this: success is rare because it requires you to think differently, act differently, and live intentionally every single day. Success is rare because it requires patience when the world demands instant results. Success is rare because it requires courage when comfort is easy. Success is rare because it requires persistence when quitting feels justified. And most importantly, success is rare because most people refuse to become the person capable of achieving it. But you can. You can become the rare individual who focuses on what matters. You can become the rare individual who takes responsibility for every thought, every habit, every action. You can become the rare individual who decides today who they will be tomorrow. Earl Nightingale believed this with certainty. Your destiny is shaped by the person you choose to become. The rare succeed because they understand this truth. The rare act. The rare persist. The rare build character. The rare cultivate thoughts. The rare live intentionally. And now it's your choice. Will you join the rare, or will you drift like the majority? Because the truth is simple. Success is rare, but it is available to anyone willing to pay the price. And that price is clarity, focus, discipline, persistence, and purpose. Earl Nightingale gave you the blueprint. The question now is, will you follow it? Earl Nightingale said, everything you want is on the other side of discipline. This is one of the hardest truths most people refuse to face. Discipline is boring. Discipline is uncomfortable. Discipline feels unnatural at first. Most people want rewards without paying the cost. They want success without struggle. They want recognition without effort. But Nightingale knew better. He taught that discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement. Without it, clarity is useless. Without it, ideas remain dreams. Without it, purpose fades into wishful thinking. Discipline is rare, and that's why success is rare. Most people think discipline is about controlling others, but it's not. It's about controlling yourself. It's about showing up when nobody is watching. It's about acting on what you know you should do, not what you feel like doing. It's about doing what is right, not what is easy. And here's the paradox. The more disciplined you become, the more freedom you gain. Nightingale called this the freedom of self-mastery. When you control your thoughts, your habits, and your actions, nothing outside can shake you. You don't rely on luck, approval, or circumstances. You create results. You shape outcomes. You live intentionally. Most people never experience this because they chase external validation. They chase instant gratification. They chase approval instead of mastery. But the rare understand that true power is internal. It comes from thought, habit, and action aligned with purpose. And that brings us to one of the most critical critical principles, Earl Nightingale emphasized the power of persistence over talent. Most people overestimate talent and underestimate consistency. They think brilliance guarantees success. They think inspiration will carry them. They think opportunity is the key. But Nightingale knew that talent without persistence is wasted potential. Persistence beats talent when talent does not persist. Persistence beats circumstance when circumstance seems unfair. Persistence beats opportunity when opportunity seems limited. The rare continue when others quit. The rare stay focused when others get distracted. The rare act when others wait for motivation. And this is why the world is full of talented people who never achieve their dreams, and ordinary people who achieve extraordinary things, because the rare are relentless, and relentlessness is a choice. It's choosing to keep moving despite fear. It's choosing to keep learning despite failure. It's choosing to keep improving despite setbacks. This is uncomfortable. Most people avoid discomfort. Most people quit when progress is invisible. Most people give up when success feels far away. But the rare understand that discomfort is the price of growth. That struggle is the fuel of transformation. That patience is the compound interest of achievement. And patience is rare because humans want instant results. They want proof before effort. They want rewards before the work. Nightingale warned that life never works this way. Progress is incremental. Results are delayed. Success is built quietly, daily, and persistently. And those who endure the invisible phase become unstoppable. Finally, one of the most important lessons Earl Nightingale left us with: decide what you will stand for and align your life with it. Most people drift because they never decide. They follow the crowd. They react to circumstances. They wait for life to give them direction. The rare decide. They define values. They define purpose. They define their daily actions in alignment with what they want to create. And that decision changes everything. It influences what you read. It influences who you associate with. It influences how you spend your time. It influences how you react under pressure. Because life always responds to the person you are becoming. And the rare understand this. They know that their future is not a result of luck. It is a result of decisions. Daily, intentional, aligned decisions. Earl Nightingale believed that once you make that conscious choice, life begins to respond. Not immediately, not magically, but unmistakably. The rare few are not fortunate. They are intentional. They are disciplined. They are persistent. They are focused. They are purpose-driven. And this is the ultimate lesson. Success is rare. Not because it is impossible. Not because the world is unfair. Not because talent or opportunity is lacking. Success is rare because most people never choose to become the person capable of achieving it. But you can if you decide. If you focus, if you persist, if you discipline yourself, if you align your life with purpose, then you too can become part of the rare few. Earl Nightingale gave the blueprint. The choice is yours. Now let's explore one of the most overlooked truths Earl Nightingale shared: the role of mindset in creating a life of success. He said, "You are now, and you do become, the sum total of your thoughts." That's a hard pill to swallow. It means that everything you experience, every success, every failure, every circumstance, is filtered through the lens of your mind. Most people think the outside world shapes them, but Nightingale taught the opposite. Your inner world shapes your outer world. If your mind is filled with fear, doubt, and limitation, your life will reflect that. If your mind is filled with confidence, purpose, and persistence, your life will reflect that too. And here's the challenge: most people don't control their minds. They scroll endlessly. They consume negativity. They allow random influences to dominate their thoughts. Then they wonder why their lives are mediocre. The rare few, however, are intentional. They guard their thoughts like a fortress. They feed their mind with ideas that empower them. They think about solutions, not problems. They focus on what they can control, not what they cannot. This is why mindset is the ultimate differentiator between the ordinary and the extraordinary. Nightingale emphasized repetition. He said that the subconscious mind accepts what it hears repeatedly. If you tell yourself you are capable, disciplined, and focused every day, your subconscious will eventually believe it. If you tell yourself you are limited, unlucky, or unworthy every day, your subconscious will also believe that. Most people underestimate this power. They rely on fleeting motivation, thinking a single burst of inspiration will change their lives. But life-changing transformation comes from consistent reinforcement of the right thoughts, daily, repeatedly, intentionally. This is how habits are formed. This is how character is built. This is how success becomes inevitable. Another key lesson from Nightingale: action must follow thought. Thinking alone does not change your life. Planning alone does not create results. You must act. Most people know what to do, but fail to do it. They procrastinate. They overthink. They wait wait for the right moment. But there is no perfect moment. The rare take action immediately. They adjust along the way. They persist despite uncertainty. Earl Nightingale said, "Action cures fear. The longer you wait, the stronger fear grows. The longer you hesitate, the more opportunities slip away." The rare act despite fear. They understand that courage is not the absence of fear. It's action in spite of it. Now, let's talk about the power of environment. Another principle Nightingale stressed. You cannot grow surrounded by negativity and expect to thrive. The people, the places, and the content you expose yourself to shape your thinking. If you associate with ambitious, disciplined, and growth-oriented people, their mindset will influence yours. If you immerse yourself in mediocrity, excuses, and distraction, your habits and thoughts will weaken. Most people underestimate this. They blame circumstances instead of curating their environment. The rare intentionally choose their surroundings. They seek mentors. They read books. They consume content that challenges and empowers them. They distance themselves from distraction and negativity. This is why success is rare. Most people drift. The rare few act with intention. Finally, Earl Nightingale emphasized the power of purpose and clarity. Without purpose, effort is meaningless. Discipline fades. Motivation disappears. Purpose is the fuel that keeps you going when everything else seems to fail. It is why successful people endure hardships that others quit at. It is why they persist when the road is lonely. It is why they act when the results are invisible. Without purpose, even discipline can feel like a burden. With purpose, even the hardest days feel meaningful. Most people never define their purpose. They drift. They react. They follow the crowd. The rare define it clearly and align their lives with it daily. They wake up knowing why they exist. They work on what matters most. They eliminate distractions. They invest their energy in growth. And over time, this intentionality compounds into extraordinary results. Earl Nightingale left us with a final truth. Success is rare because it requires you to become a different person than you are today. It demands clarity. It demands focus. It demands discipline. It demands persistence. It demands courage. It demands patience. It demands purpose. Most people want success without becoming the person capable of it. The rare understand that your future is shaped by the person you are becoming today. Every thought, every habit, every choice, every day. You are already on the path. The only question is, will you choose to follow it deliberately? Because the rare succeed. Not by chance, not by luck, not by talent alone. They succeed because they decide. They decide to grow. They decide to act. They decide to persist. They decide to focus. They decide to live intentionally. And that decision compounds into results. If you take nothing else from Earl Nightingale's teachings, remember this. You become what you think about. You succeed by acting on those thoughts. You persist through discomfort. You align your life with purpose. You control your mind, your habits, and your actions. And if you do all of that, you will join the rare few who achieve extraordinary success. Now, let's dive even deeper into one of the most powerful principles Earl Nightingale taught, the unstoppable power of consistency. He said, "Success is built daily, not in a day." This is where most people fail. They expect big results from occasional effort. They believe that one big idea, one intense week, or one short burst of action will change everything. But Nightingale made it clear, success is a marathon, not a sprint. Consistency compounds. Small, deliberate actions repeated over time create momentum that is nearly impossible to stop. Imagine dropping a single grain of sand every day into a jar. Day 1, nothing changes. Day 30, it looks almost the same. Year 1, the jar is filling. Year 5, it's overflowing. Most people quit after day 30. The rare persist until the jar overflows. Consistency is rare because it is boring. It requires you to do what is necessary, even when no one is watching. It requires you to act when progress is invisible. It requires you to continue when motivation fades. The rare succeed because they understand this principle. They understand that mastery is earned slowly, privately, and deliberately. They show up even on days when they feel tired, distracted, or uninspired. They understand that each small action is a vote for the person they are becoming. This is why discipline and consistency are inseparable. Discipline is the ability to do what must be done even when you don't feel like it. Consistency is the ability to do it day after day, week after week, year after year. And the rare combine both. They do the work. They refine their skills. They persist. They never quit. Nightingale also emphasized the importance of decision-making. Most people drift because they fail to make decisions. They wait for permission, guidance, or the perfect conditions. But success comes to those who decide first and adjust second. You must decide what you want. Decide who you want to be. Decide what actions you will take. Decide what habits you will build, and then follow through relentlessly. Most people never decide, which is why they live reactive, ordinary lives. The rare make conscious, deliberate choices every day. And that leads to another critical principle: taking full responsibility. Nightingale said, "Don't blame others for your circumstances. Take control of your thoughts, your actions, and your life." When you take responsibility, excuses disappear. When excuses disappear, focus appears. When focus appears, action becomes unstoppable. Most people fail because they give away their power. They blame parents, teachers, friends, the economy, or luck. The rare reclaim their power by accepting responsibility for every choice, every action, and every result. Another truth Nightingale emphasized is the importance of purpose-driven action. Without purpose, effort is wasted. Without purpose, discipline is a chore. Without purpose, persistence falters. But when your actions are aligned with purpose, every small effort becomes meaningful. Every struggle becomes bearable. Every sacrifice feels worthwhile. Purpose is what separates those who achieve from those who drift. The rare focus on what matters most, not what is urgent. They prioritize growth over comfort. They choose long-term results over short-term pleasure. And that is why their lives compound into extraordinary success over time. Earl Nightingale also stressed the value of learning from failure. Most people fear failure and avoid it. They let mistakes define them. They quit when things don't go as planned. The rare see failure differently. Failure is not the end. Failure is feedback. Failure is data for adjustment. Failure is a stepping stone toward mastery. They persist not despite failure, but because of it. They analyze, adapt, and improve. They understand that setbacks are temporary, but lessons are permanent. And the rare take action faster after failure than most ever do. Finally, one of the most overlooked yet essential lessons from Nightingale: the power of alignment. Your thoughts, habits, actions, and environment must all point in the same direction. When they do, progress accelerates. When they don't, energy is wasted. Most people work against themselves. They have conflicting priorities. They allow distraction to dominate. They act inconsistently. The rare align themselves completely. They think clearly. They act purposefully. They build habits that support their goals. They immerse themselves in environments that foster growth. And over time, this alignment becomes unstoppable momentum. Earl Nightingale taught that this is the secret behind rare, extraordinary success: clarity, discipline, persistence, consistency, responsibility, purpose, alignment. Most people ignore these principles. That is why success is rare. The rare embrace them. That is why success becomes inevitable. And if you're still listening, reading, or paying attention, here is the final truth: you already have everything you need to become rare. The choice is yours. Will you drift with the majority, or will you intentionally build the person capable of achieving extraordinary success? Earl Nightingale gave you the blueprint. The rare succeed because they decide, act, persist, and align. Now it's your turn. Now let's go deeper into one of Earl Nightingale's most profound truths: your environment shapes your destiny. He said, "You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." Think about that. Most people underestimate the influence of their surroundings. They blame circumstances, luck, or opportunity for their lack of success. But Nightingale taught that your environment, the people you interact with, the content you consume, and the places you spend your time quietly dictates your thoughts, habits, and ultimately your results. If you surround yourself with negative, complacent, or distracted people, your thinking will weaken. If you immerse yourself in environments filled with growth, ambition, and focus, your mind will rise to match it. Most people fail because they fail to curate their environment. The rare succeed because they choose it deliberately. They seek mentors who have achieved what they want. They study books that challenge and inspire them. They surround themselves with peers who push them forward. And over time, this deliberate environment compounds into extraordinary results. Another critical lesson from Nightingale is the importance of long-term thinking. Most people live for the immediate. They chase instant gratification. They focus on short-term pleasure. They measure success by immediate feedback. But Nightingale emphasized that the rare succeed because they think decades ahead, not days. They understand that small, consistent actions today shape massive results tomorrow. They are willing to delay comfort, pleasure, and recognition to build lasting success. This is why patience is rare and why success is rare. The average give up too soon. The rare endure for years without recognition. They keep acting when it seems like nothing is happening, and eventually, what seemed invisible becomes undeniable. Another principle Nightingale stressed is the power of personal responsibility. He said, "Don't blame your parents, your circumstances, or your environment. Take control of your life." Most people spend their lives giving away their power. They complain, react, and wait for permission. The rare reclaim their power by taking 100% responsibility for their thoughts, habits, and actions. When you take responsibility, excuses disappear. When excuses disappear, clarity appears. When clarity appears, action becomes unstoppable. And that brings us to another cornerstone of Nightingale's teaching, the value of purpose. Without purpose, effort is meaningless. Without purpose, persistence is impossible. Without purpose, discipline fades. But with a clearly defined purpose, every challenge becomes bearable. Every setback becomes a lesson. Every small action becomes meaningful. The rare define their purpose and align every thought, habit, and action to it. They wake up every day knowing why they are here. They live intentionally. They act deliberately. This alignment creates momentum that the world cannot stop. Earl Nightingale also stressed the importance of mindset. Your thoughts are the architect of your life. Your beliefs shape your actions. Your mindset determines your results. Most people feed their minds with doubt, fear, and distraction. The rare feed theirs with courage, clarity, and possibility. Consistency in thought is as important as consistency in action, because what you repeatedly think becomes what you ultimately do. Most people fail because they let their minds wander without direction. The rare succeed because they focus deliberately on what matters most. Finally, Nightingale emphasized persistence as the ultimate differentiator. Talent, opportunity, and intelligence are overrated. Persistence is underrated. The rare persist when others quit. They act when others hesitate. They endure when others retreat. And persistence compounds, quietly at first, then undeniably over time. Success is rare because most people stop too soon. The rare endure until it becomes inevitable. Earl Nightingale gave us a roadmap. 1. Clarity. Decide what you want. 2. Focus. Direct your thoughts, actions, and energy. 3. Discipline. Do what is necessary, even when it's uncomfortable. 4. Consistency. Show up daily without fail. 5. Responsibility. Own every choice, thought, and action. 6. Purpose. Align your life with a meaningful goal. 7. Environment. Surround yourself with growth. 8. Persistence. Keep going when others quit. Follow these principles, and you join the rare. Ignore them, and life drifts by unnoticed. Success is rare, but it is not impossible. The rare succeed because they decide to become the person capable of achieving it. And now, the final question. Will you join the rare? Will you take control of your thoughts, your habits, and your life? Earl Nightingale's blueprint is clear. The choice is yours. Now, let's examine another of Earl Nightingale's most profound lessons: the extraordinary power of focus and attention. He said, where attention goes, energy flows. This simple truth separates the average from the extraordinary. Most people let their attention be hijacked daily. Notifications, social media, gossip, random distractions. These silently shape their thoughts and drain their energy. As a result, most people drift. They react to life instead of creating it. They waste time on what is urgent but not important. The rare, however, protect their attention fiercely. They know exactly where to invest their energy. They focus on high-value tasks. They protect their mind from negative influence.